Welcome to the podcast of Arturo and Sylvia Escobar, a couple married for over 40 years and proud parents of 6 children who have dedicated their lives to serving and training families in the Illinois area. As realtors, their mission is not only to help you find your dream home or invest in real estate, but also to provide fresh and practical information that benefits our community. In each episode, Arturo and Sylvia share tools, tips, and resources to strengthen families both financially and personally, including marriage courses that inspire couples to stay strong and committed. They also feature special guests who contribute valuable knowledge for the growth of your family and your future. This is a space created for you to inform, inspire, and accompany you on the journey towards your dreams. Welcome. This is Cafecito con los Escobar, the podcast.
Welcome one more time to Cafecito con los Escobar. We want to wish you a very blessed, exciting, prosperous new year because we're coming to you in the beginning of January. So blessings for you and your family. And today we have an excellent program. We have a special man invited to this episode, and you're going to be blessed by his talk. And I want to ask my wife, Sylvia, to introduce him.
Mm-hmm. So, Guillermo, we met at just a few weeks ago, right? With having breakfast with our good friend Ben Diaz, and he introduced you. We were talking, having a great conversation about our Hispanic community and listening to your story. And then Ben told us that you had written some books, and we have here Immigrant Roots. Yes, and it's in English and in Spanish.
Yes.
And so I read half of it, and so it's been really good. It's been really good. I can hardly wait to read some more of it. But it's about 10 people. What you are one of them included, and their immigrant life and the decisions that they've made and the progress that they've made and the success that they've had. So I think for right now, we would love to hear more about your story. Not only what's in the book, but whatever you feel is good, because we're talking today about our mindset when it comes to success, when it comes to finances, and how we make that switch as people who are either first or second generation of immigrant families. So I'd love to hear your story.
My story, so it starts here in the U.S. at 16 years old when I arrived to the city of Evanston. Came from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, with a lot of dreams. Not optional. My parents brought me here. There was no, do you want to come or not? It was just not my choice. Was really hard the first couple of years. I know you can probably relate.
Definitely.
You don't speak the language, and definitely like the schools, different systems, and it was just really hard. But then 2 years into it, then you learn the language, things starts to get a little easier, and you start making friends. And then 2 years in, my parents decided to buy a house in Palatine. So we moved from Evanston to Palatine. So I had to again start all over again. But what can I tell you is that I come from great set of parents. They gave me a good life, even in Mexico. It's me and 3 sisters. And we kind of decided to stay all together, and we all decided to stay here in the United States. Long story short, I've been up and down like everyone else in their life. But in 2009, I filed bankruptcy, and I lost everything I had and the career that I thought was going to be my final career for the rest of my life, which was mortgage lending. And God has mysterious ways to change your path. Like, no, that's not the way. You have another way. And that time you don't understand what you're going through. But I know, I tell another people that I tell my story to, from 2009 when I filed bankruptcy to 2014, I had all the jobs that you can think of. I did Royal Prestige. I did Primerica, Melaleuca. It was like organic products. I came to understand the beauty of what it's called, the continuous income, right? And I also came into the industry of finance and insurance through World Financial. That's also another company. But long story short, I had all these different jobs. I work at a bank, got my investment license. So when the opportunity presented to become a State Farm agent, I asked, I'm like, what do you need to become an agent? And they're like, well, you need your investment license, you need your home and auto license, your life and health license. And to me, it was kind of like an aha moment because I felt really like this great feeling in my heart. And to God, I'm a faith person. I'm like, this is it. This is my big break because I had obtained all the licenses in those 5 years of struggle through different jobs. And when they tell me what I needed, I'm like, I already have all the licenses. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm like, not purposely, you know, like I got my life and health through Primerica and I got my investment through the bank. And I was doing sales over the phone and that one got me my home and auto. So I'm like, okay, God truly wants me to do this. This is like my big break. Because also part of the story is my wife got pregnant right in 2009. My daughter was born in 2009 when I filed bankruptcy. We were not married at the time, and you know, in our culture, that's a big deal, right? When you're not married and you're expecting. But now, you know, she's my oldest. She's 16 years old, and everything I do is for them. I have a younger one. She's 5. And long story short, when God kind of like helped me have success in my business, also asked myself, well, what can I do to kind of like pay it forward in a sense? And the book came along, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this book, tell our stories. At the end of each story, there's advice to success. And what I added to my book is a QR code where anyone who reads the book can contact that specific story because we all connect to different stories. And recently it's been great. I mean, we were asked to speak at Roosevelt University, recently at the South Elgin High School. It's gonna be also part of College of DuPage for their ESL program for spring. So, and it's happened on its own. I'm like, this book has something going on, and I'm just going with the flow. But that's not just my story. You know, like we can be here hours telling you my story, but it's a little glimpse.
Which is true, right? Because each person, like each thing that you mentioned about your story, has such a huge part of who you are now. And that was true of all of the stories that were there. So I really love that they have the QR code and also the next steps or suggestions from that person for at the end of each chapter. So that's great.
It's an observation for the book, and I know you've been through some hardships in your life, some hard times. Bankruptcy is something that Latinos don't consider too much. It's kind of brings some shame into our life, I think. I noticed the book, the people in the book, they all have been through hardship. And what impresses me, including you, what impresses me is the fact that they all have overcome the hardship and they have become, through that hardship and through learning through the process, to be successful in their business or whatever they do. So it's a good read. So we recommend them to get it.
Thank you. And you know, the reality is we're gonna continue going through ups and downs in our life, right?
Yes.
And it's the mindset and how you react to things that might make it easier.
Yeah.
You know. So.
And what would you say, you know, and besides the like Arturo mentioned, how we view sometimes bankruptcy, there are other things that I think, you know, our mindset is sometimes set on scarcity. And there's a reason for that, right? We've been, you know, for example, I can say about my parents, they were surviving. You know, they were trying to get, and so I'd like to speak, if you could speak a little bit to this idea of scarcity and how do we overcome that? Because sometimes people hit a point and they feel like, well, I shouldn't be ambitious. I shouldn't be thinking about more. Maybe I'm being greedy. And, all of these thoughts come to mind and they kind of pull back. Where the stories that you've put in this book, they didn't pull back. They pushed forward and they pushed through. And so how do we change that mindset? What would you recommend?
So we recently met, but I'm very attention to detail. And there's a few things that when I'm in conversations, I'm always paying attention, even when it seems like I'm not. Born and raised Catholic, right? And not shaming any other religion or anything like that. But it's also known as the kind of like the guilty religion, right? Like it's a sin. Don't do this. And one part of it is trying to like wish for more, right? Like, what do you want to make $1 million? Why do you want to buy the big house? Like, that's being greedy, And with the years and what I've learned is greed is a good thing to have, but all depends in what extreme, right? Because greed kind of like push you to that mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna work hard to achieve what I want. But also, I'm speaking for myself, and I know it's very also connects with other cultures. But our parents, right? They push you to like do good, but not too good. They're like, get the small little house and buy the little car, and then you're set. Like you don't have to ask for more.
Because to them, that's an improvement.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So,
and I think it's cultural. It's also because I speak for my parents; they didn't have it. So, and I always talk about mindset because it's what we limit ourselves to. So in high school, all I wanted to is buy a car. So I worked 3 summers to save enough money to buy that car. And I always make the joke that the radio, it was faces that you will put in, was worth more money than the actual car, right? Which they stole, by the way. It was a thing. It was a thing back then. It really made me, as a teenager, that really broke my heart. I was really upset. Now I come to also realize that material things come and go, and everything has a solution. Being in the insurance industry, are you okay? Just as long as you're okay, don't worry. You have insurance, everything's gonna be fine. It's replaceable. But going back to scarcity, and going back to this mindset, right? My mind was only limited to that car. And then you buy the condo. That was my first purchase, right? And it was limited to just a condo. But then you get the condo, you're like, well, maybe I can buy, in my case, a townhouse. A little bigger because your family starts growing. And then you get it. But then that's what I'm trying to connect here is like you limit yourself to that. And then, well, maybe we can buy a house. And then you go for that house. And not feeling guilty about it. I recently have made some expensive purchases. That to me, material stuff doesn't really make an impact on me. But I did one specific purchase. I won't say what it was. But it was to prove myself that first, I work hard to buy it. Second, to not feel guilty about it, to break that scarcity mindset. And also, because I felt guilty about how can an item be worth more than my sister's car or my parents' car, right? And that makes you feel guilty. But then it's also kind of like proving yourself, but why not? You are able to do it. You work hard for it. So why not do it? And I kind of want to sell it now. But it was more from the other side of like the scarcity and guilt and, okay, I'm going to do it just for that. And then after you do that, how did you overcome it? I overcame it now, and I'm like, okay, I don't really need it.
Yes.
I can give it back. But to connect and for people listening to the podcast, it's just kind of like other religions could be guilty religions, but Christianity is your relationship with God. And what I also learned was that He truly wants the best for you, and that includes abundance. And sometimes we connect abundance with just money, but it's family, friends, and to me it really changed my mindset to like, you know what, why not? Why do I have to feel guilty to want the big house and want the nice car? But there's also a lesson there, because they say when you can have it, you want it, and when you can have it, you don't want it anymore. But I want to make sure that they do go for it.
So if I understand, you are connecting the scarcity mindset to cultural and also spiritual.
Yes.
And I think one of the last recommendations for success in the book is that you say connect yourself with a higher purpose and with a higher being. So looking at it that way, higher purpose, is there a higher purpose in your mind for money? Not just buying the last model of car and a big apartment by the lake. Is there a use for money that passes all of those material things that we sometimes used to long to have?
So, if I'm understanding what you're trying to ask here, is that personally, right? Because every person is different.
Yes.
To me, money doesn't drive me, but what you can do with the money is really what
Yes.
experiences. In my case, my parents are getting to that age where they're getting really old, and my mom just went through a brain tumor recently. And to me, what you can do with the money is huge, right? So I'm like, when my mom needs an electric wheelchair, which people might not know this, but it's $30,000 an electric wheelchair, right? I would like to be able to buy her the best wheelchair out there, you know, so she feels more efficient, because that's what happens. But going to purpose, to me, yeah, it's not the money, it's what you can do with that money. Pay it forward, right? Like the book, it doesn't make me any money, you know, it's to pay it forward. I donate it to schools. So I definitely, part of like my advice in the book is have a why. So I have two biggest whys, my two daughters, right? I don't, that's plenty. And also have a purpose. And everything I do is because I went through it. Also, you know, getting mentors, right? Like I'm 42 now, trying to find mentors because I still feel like I can continue to grow. Going back to scarcity, like I could just be satisfied with what I have now, and then the old Guillermo will feel guilty for wanting more, and now I'm like, why not? Why can't we continue to grow and continue to scale in different areas? Because yeah, I could just do my job and then stay there. And no, I'm doing the book. I want to invest in real estate. My sister just opened a coffee shop, and I'm like, okay, let's open a second one. I want to be part of it. So, and not feeling guilty about it it's a process. It's not. It doesn't happen overnight. But now I also do it with, going back to you, I do it with the purpose of like, okay, that generates employment, right? That we can pay for college. I have a sister who was a single mom for a while, and my nephew's in college now. You know, so he's gonna need resources. And unfortunately, money, like they say, doesn't buy happiness, but it affects everything you do in your life. Where you live, what clothes you wear, where you go to school, everything you do, it's connected to money. So I think the first step is to overcome that guilt and that scarcity mindset that you were raised with.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not easy to break habits.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that, you know, money, what you're saying, money is good for the good it can do, right?
Yes.
It's a tool, right? It's a tool. And it almost feels like the scarcity mindset actually puts money in the center. Where actually money, if you think of it as a tool, it doesn't matter how big the tool is what you do with it.
Yes.
Right? So at that point, it's a switch of mindset, but it's not a switch where I want more. It's actually releasing. The scarcity mindset to me is like this. And where we release that to abundance, we kind of open our arms and say, okay, well, what do I need to accomplish the things that God has put in my heart and my mind, right? And being a blessing to others requires having something to be able to give.
Exactly.
Right?
Good.
Whether it be to our spouse, to our family, to people outside of our family, it's a
well said.
switch. Yeah.
Yes.
In some spiritual cultures, being poor is almost considered a virtue. But if you don't have the resources, you can't help anybody. So when you are able, through the gifting that God has given you, to produce wealth, your mind opens to a different level, and you see money as a tool, like Sylvia was saying, to help others, to bless others. and that helps to the guilt to be released, and you keep prospering because it's the money is put to use in a good way. So
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and it's something that every individual has to work on themselves, right? I recently was talking to a friend who's very well off, and he's like, "Well, you know, you have to pay for it somehow." That he's wealthy, and I was like, I left that lunch and thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't think God wants you to pay for it, if you know, but that's his mindset. And I'm like, well, if something, maybe you will attract bad things happening to you if you think that way.
yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely an individual decision to break cultural habits, mindset.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy. Sometimes you have to push yourself. But the thing is, I think with small steps, as you break through, you accomplish with a different mindset.
Yes.
So yeah, and I think I think it's a disservice to people when we limit them, right, and their idea of prospering or being successful, because we don't know what the challenges that they face are.
Yeah.
Arturo used to. This is a joke that just came to mind. Our kids used to ask like for something, and they would say, "But yeah, I know we're not going to be able to afford it, and because the money is the problem, isn't it?" And then my dad and Arturo would say, he would say, "Oh no, money is not the problem." And it's not? No, it's the lack of it.
Yeah, it's the lack of it.
But that's really what it comes down to, right? Like sometimes we want
like
to
it.
be able to, we want to be able to do things, but it's the lack of it.
Yes.
So, and going back through all of these things, so there is money with purpose is in the hands of good people with good hearts can do a lot of good.
Yeah.
So money is not the issue, it's loving the money that is the issue. But when you make the money and you release it, you live well too. We're not talking about giving it all away, but if you live well and you release it to bless others, money is a good tool to help alleviate situations with people that we know, the people that we love.
Correct. And even people that we don't
know.
you don't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things that I really like about your story and the stories of the people that are in the book is that it's through adversity, it's through challenges that we become grateful for what we have, which is different than entitlement. Right? Because entitlement is like, I deserve. And, but to have gone through difficult times and then be grateful that you don't have to go through those times at this time is, it's a different level of gratitude that then also makes us feel responsible to help others because we're aware, right? Would you agree with that?
100%. I mean, gratitude to me is like the moment I wake up. It's just I'm so grateful for a new day, because tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So I think gratitude is a big with purpose. It all connects, right?
It all connects. Yeah.
But being grateful for what you have and not what you want will attract definitely more abundance. Which I think that's the topic today about breaking the scarcity mindset. So I will definitely suggest to kind of like be grateful for what you have, even if there's a lack of money. Just having, I mean, for us here in the U.S., just having plumbing, working plumbing. I mean, little simples like that simple things like that we take for granted. But I'm like, we have plumbing. You can go to the bathroom with, and a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
You have food no matter what. You'll be able to eat. So little things like that, and that's gonna kind of like put you in the path of like growing and abundance and starting to like find different ways to grow your wealth. Because I think anybody in this country of dreams can do it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's happening right now.
Yeah. And by the way, it's a lot of happening right now.
Yes.
A lot of families, a lot of people are going through difficult circumstances.
Yes.
Knowing that you and the people that you met through your book went through hardship and difficult circumstances itself. What would you tell somebody who's going through hard times right now to overcome it and then move it to success? Use those bad experiences to succeed in life. What will be your advice?
So what I learned through the years, because I gone through really hard times myself, and I also feel blessed about my hard times because they're not as hard as other people that I happen to know. But my advice is definitely the spiritual part is big, because when something bad is happening to me, it's just having that trust in God for, or the universe or whatever the higher being you want to call, having that trust that everything will be okay, and it's happening for a reason. You know, I always use the saying. A lot of the sayings are very powerful, right? Like life's rejections are God's protection. So definitely, and sometimes we get devastated by a job that rejected you, or stuff like that. And it's like God wants something better and bigger for you. So to me, it's just having that confidence that He's gonna work it out somehow. Or I'm like, you're trying to teach me something, do it fast, because it's not fun.
Exactly.
So spiritually, hard work and looking for mentors is probably your process, right?
Yes, you are like the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? So if it's not people you're learning from, then you should be, again, switching that circle over and over and make them your mentors. Right?
Yep.
So if you're like at $500,000, then find people who are making $1 million, and you can learn from. Once you're $1 million, then find people who are making $2 million. You know, this comes to money, but it applies to anything
in life.
You know, you want a good marriage, then find a good marriage to follow, right? Or be a good parent. You know, I look up to a good dad, then maybe let me get some pointers if I'm not being a good dad.
That's good.
Great.
Guillermo, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
We appreciate this book in English and Spanish. For those of you who haven't heard of this, it's called Immigrant Roots by Guillermo Chavez Angeles, and it is available on Amazon.
Yes.
So get it. And then the other thing we wanted to invite you to is that this month we are also having a webinar on how to live from your rents. So we're talking about passive income. It doesn't have to be rents. It'll talk about passive income and how you can get that. We also are launching a new series. This is going to be in person and on Zoom. It is in Spanish though, and this one's going to be about marriage classes. And they're going to be speaking about marriage classes. And so we're going to be talking about how this is a series called The Monsters of Marriage. So there are things that affect just about every marriage. And this time we're going to be focusing for 4 weeks on the finances and how finances affect marriage. So we're not talking about budgeting or anything like that. We're talking about specifically how finances affect our marriage. So as you're getting ready to launch your new year, think about what conversations you want to have as a couple so that you can strengthen your marriage instead of having conflict in deciding about finances. So that's going to start January 30th, and we'll have the link there. We will also have a workshop, and this is going to be talking about money mindset. And Guillermo's going to be there,
Yes.
Ben is going to be there, and he'll have his books. I already told him to bring his books. It is also in Spanish, but that's an in-person, and that'll be in Schaumburg. And the information will all be in the link. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Thank
And everybody have an awesome 2026 New Year. Be successful.
Yes.